1 qubit, okay, we can put, let's just say this is 500 terabytes in total. We can put 500 terabytes into a qubit, no problem at all. Zero problem at all, right? But we can't put 1 qubit at all, would not touch the sides, right? Would not touch the sides, would not even register being able to compile. It'd be like trying to put, 12 gigs into a 2 gigabyte stick. It's going to tell you, hey man, like I can't put 12 in. You end up with like 3 songs and half a song, right? You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
The system are just bit strings, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, etc. Whereas in a quantum computer, you can have linear combinations of bit strings. So that's, you can have
a shittier way to explain it that's wrong.
Etc. And the fundamental problem when you're building a quantum computer is that it's very hard to preserve the coherence of the quantum information in the memory. So if one stray photon comes in and bounces off one of the qubits in your memory, there goes your quantum computation. It decoheres it and makes it classical. And so that sounds like a very good argument for why we're not going to build quantum computers. And in fact, that is why we still don't really have very good quantum computers. This is a huge problem, that it's just very hard to preserve the quantum coherence of the memory.
He just doesn't want to lose his job.
There is, at least theoretically, a way of doing it, where if you can just make
that's understandable,
the components of the computer good enough, we're good enough with something like they have to be like 1 part in 10 to the 4, 1 part in 10 to the 5. And we're actually
you think he might turn around and be like, I'm not pretty enough for the outside world. Like, your photos look pretty good that I saw before.
To get close to it right now, so it's an exciting time to think about quantum computers. If you just get to some finite level of precision, then you can do a process called quantum error correction, where by being clever about how you encode the calculation that you want to do into the physical qubits of your quantum memory, then you can actually protect the calculation against stray photons bouncing off of the qubits in the memory. Right. So let me try to phrase the problem in a suggestive way. Okay, I have some information stored in my quantum computer. Say it's the number that I want to factor, or it's the state of some magnet that I'm trying to simulate, or something like that. Okay. Now, that information has to be stored in the physical qubits of the memory, because that's what the memory is made out of. It's just a bunch of physical qubits. But it has to be stored in a way where if a photon comes in and flips one of the individual qubits, it doesn't mess up the memory of the computation that you're trying to do. And that's exactly the problem I was trying to solve in ADS-CFD. I have that information in the center of the gravitational spacetime, and it needs to somehow be encoded into the local degrees of freedom on the boundary, but in such a way where if I mess up any one of them, or any few of them, that it can't be detected by somebody sitting in the center of the bulk, holding a spin or something and doing quantum mechanics with it. And so that's the analogy. So in a quantum computer, there's a terminology that people use where they say there's the logical qubits and the physical qubits. The logical qubits are the ones you're actually computing on. The physical qubits are, the superconducting crosses or the atoms or whatever that your computer is physically made out of. And there's a non-trivial relationship between.
But like in theory, it doesn't have to be made out of anything if we can create the containment, because we create the containment through numpty, through gitsyk, whatever, through Python, right? When it comes to quantum computers, when it comes to particle colliders,